Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome. This is Kate Side with Christopher James, and I am Christopher James, and I am happy to be here tonight. I hope you guys are happy to be here with me. Couple of quick notes before I bring in my guest tonight. Remember, on the bottom of the screen, you see an Island Fight CEO, Dean Toole, says the promotion is back in action July 25th in Pensacola for Island Fight 63 at the Haji Shrine. I'll be there ring announcing. And we had some fight posters drop today, and we had one epic fight poster, Carl Black versus John Connor. Connor's got cats in his hands. It's the funniest poster. It might be the most epic fight poster I've ever seen in my life. I'm really excited about this fight, and I can't wait for this whole event. It's been too long since we've been in action with Island Fights, so we just want to get back to the party time. But right now, we are going to bring in our first guest, and we might have another guest. I'm just waiting to hear back from somebody, but right now we're going to bring him in. He is undefeated at Bare-Knuckle Fighting Championship. He's 3 finishes and 1 win by decision. He is absolutely reinvented himself as a fighter, and it's moved to everywhere in his life. He's such a cool cat. I've known him for a long time. He's in the UFC vet, Cage Warriors vet, the guy that Conor McGregor ran away from. Not once, but twice, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome to the show the one and only Jim, the Bare-Knuckle Beast Alers. Jim, what's up, boss?
How you doing?
I'm good, man. Good to see you. Good to have you on board tonight. See that you're at the gym training. So before we get into your upcoming fight and everything, we'll talk about all that. Give us a little insight as to your daily life of Jim Alers as a MMA coach, a bare-knuckle coach, a jiu-jitsu coach, and how life is going for you and your family with your gym, because you have your own training center down in South Florida, Alers Martial Arts, as you can see there on the shirt, kids. And give us some insight as to how life has changed for you, not just as a coach, but as a business owner, because it has to have changed, the way you're doing business and, staying afloat in this tough time. And while you're doing that, I'm going to be looking down at this so I can share the broadcast out and make sure we get enough coverage out here. So I am listening, even if I'm not looking.
No, for sure, man. So life has been, crazy for everybody, I'm sure. Just with trying to get that training in and just living life in general. But I'm trying my best part to just be as normal as possible, be with my family as much as possible, because that's really what matters, and just try to help people out right now. My days are early. I have this morning I had, I woke up early, had a private in the morning before I went and go do my own thing. And with the gym, I'm always working. Before, when we were closed, I was, doing Zoom classes multiple times a day for my students, as long as doing my own things. And now that we're open, and hopefully we stay open, we're back in business, and I'm just right back at it, doing my thing. I teach 3 to 4 classes a day, plus do my own training, which is sometimes 3 to 4 hours a day. So I'm at the gym all the time, countlessly. But it's awesome that I have, a job where I get to spend time with my family. My family's at the gym with me. This last Sunday, I just trained with my wife for an hour of jiu-jitsu at Unreach Martial Arts in Hollywood. So my life is good, man. My life is awesome. I love that I get to be with my family and just do what I love, and then do what I love for as long as I've been doing it. So I have no complaints over here. That's for sure.
So now that you're back open for business, what's the students like? Are you getting students back in on a regular? Or are they slowly coming back? And what are the precautions you're taking in the gym to make sure everybody's safe?
Right. So in the beginning, it was
hold on. By the way, I never said this to you, but you should have just called it Jim's Gym. I'm just saying.
Yeah, a lot of people say that. But I thought about it. I really did. But in the beginning, I was afraid. People were not sure what was happening. Nobody knew what this was all about. The media just saying a lot, and definitely for sure this is a scary time. So nobody really knew what was happening, and I had a lot of cancellations, a lot of freezes onto our account. And, I've worked with my students, tried to do whatever I can to keep people staying at the gym. Obviously Zoom classes aren't for everybody. People just need that extra motivation of getting to the gym to work out. So about half my memberships went down during the whole quarantine time. And I got nervous we might have to shut down, like many gyms. Many gyms have shut down, and I feel horrible for those gyms. But I have an awesome following, and the people that did stay with us, I'm so thankful for them. They kept us afloat, and when we opened back up, the majority of our members, I think we only lost maybe 12 members altogether. Once we opened back up, everyone was in a rush to get back to the gym. Quarantine was horrible for people, just staying at home all day with nothing to do. And of course, at the gym, we check everybody's temperature coming in. We hand sanitize them coming and leaving from the gym. I took out our water coolers so people aren't using the same water as everybody else. Just a lot of steps that we can do to just keep a better clean place so that everyone stays safe. If you have a temperature, I'm going to tell you, hey, you got to go home, or you should be checking your temperature at home by yourself now, just for the sake of everybody else as well. But I check your temperature here. We haven't had any problems yet, but keep the gym extra clean. We're cleaning top to bottom after every class. So it's a lot of work, but it's for the good.
Yeah, and I don't like it. And by the way, I want to shout out to my man Steve Rothman from the Fighting News. He's watching. He said, "Yo, Jim." Forrest Daniels, Joshua Egglight says, "Yo, Jim," and hi, Chris. Of course, Debbie Gamble, Florida's #1 MMA and combat sports fans watching. A bunch of other people too, but they haven't commented yet. Guys, remember, you can comment on the Facebook feed, and I can see the comments. I can share them with Jim, just like this. So if I wanted like the Jim see it says, "Yo, Jim." Now, I don't know how close Jim is to his camera, if he could see it, but it says, "Yo, Jim" from Steve Rothman. So anyway.
But I see something pop
up. And all right, so you've been doing the bare-knuckle thing for a little while now. It's really kind of crazy. It's just is it even a full year, or is it just a little over a year?
Yeah, just hit a year in, I think it was June. I forgot when it was, but it's been such a roller coaster and everything happening so fast. I fought so many times, and I think I ended up fighting 4 times in 6 months.
Yeah, and something like that.
This has been my longest break now because of this whole quarantine thing. But it's been a lot of fun. But yeah, it's been 1 year since I came in and got that knockout of the night for my first fight, and just kind of changed the whole game.
Yeah, you really did. I mean, you came in, and we can review your record. Excuse me. Come in and you take out Elvin Leon Brito, 45 seconds into round 1. Then you take out Leonard Garcia, another seasoned veteran of the world of combat sports, in 1:38 in round 1. Julian Lane took you into round 2, 53 seconds. Your toughest fight was a kid named Caleb Harris, but you had the majority decision victory. And, that was a tough fight, and I don't know how many people expected that fight to be as tough as it was, because you fought some bigger name, more named guys ahead of that. Walk us through that fight now that we're months past it. Was that fight from Caleb everything you expected from him, or did he bring a lot more to the table than even you expected that night? And when I say that, I know you don't take any opponent lightly. It doesn't matter if it's me inside the cage against you, even though you know you're going to beat the shit out of me, anything can happen. So I know you wouldn't take me lightly, but I know you didn't take Caleb lightly, but did he bring more to you than you expected from him?
Man, no, I thought Caleb was going to come at me with everything he had. I've seen his previous fights, and he's only gotten better every single fight. So, these young up and coming guys are coming because you have that name. And I remember getting the chance to fight some of these guys, and I was like, man, I want to beat this guy. I want to put this name on my record. And I know he came into that fight with that mindset, but I had to let him know, hey man, I've been in this game a long time. It's gonna take a lot to put me out. And I came at him, man, and truth is, by the second round, after the second round, my hands were just were done. You know, I fought way too many times in 6 months. You know, like I said, 4 fights in 6 months. My hands never got a time, actual time to actually heal, and I was fighting with hands already swollen. So I went to that fight, and I don't think I hit actual mitts through that whole fight camp, and I don't think I did bag work either. Just paddle work and cardio for the most part for that whole fight, because my hands were hurting every single time I would practice. So I'm kind of glad we got this little break to let my hands finally heal up, so I can go all out again.
That's just so crazy that, you know, you came in there, like I said, you know, and with, you know, you are not a guy that was known for his hands in the UFC. I mean, you know, we all know that, although your opponent coming up, and we'll talk about everything he said, but Luis Palomino and I spoke on Monday night. He was on the show, and you know, he told me about days of you and him sparring, and he always knew that you had punching power, but you never really used your punches the way you could in the UFC for whatever reason. But when you hear that from somebody that knows you, you know, again, we're gonna get into the whole fight, but your opponent coming up knows what you can do with your hands, and obviously we've all seen it since you've entered the bare-knuckle ring. Um, does that say to you? Does that, like, I don't know, make you think back maybe into your UFC career? You know, because here's Palomino talking about your hands and your power and your strength from back in the day when you were training with him at MMA Masters. Does it make you think to yourself, man, if I could have done a few things differently when I was in the UFC with my hands, you know, my career might have gone differently? Are you there? Did we lose Jim? We might have lost Jim. Sometimes it happens. He's in the gym, and I know sometimes we get the internet pop from there. So we'll wait for him to pop back on here. And Earth to Jim, come in, Jim. Earth to Jim, come in, Jim. Hang on a second, guys. It's definitely going to be something on his end. Yeah, we lost him. We'll get him back here in a second, guys. And we'll have him answer that question. Sometimes that does happen, you know, when you're using, you know, your phone company, internet, or Wi-Fi in your building. It just happens. I mean, obviously you guys can still see me. So, but it is cool. He's got the little spinning circle there. So we'll remove him. I just sent him a message. Remember if his phone died or something. So yeah. All right. So he just clicked out. So hopefully he got my message to click out and click back in. Maybe he can reset his phone. But while we're waiting for him to come back, so the question I was asking him, Jim gone MIA in MIA. The reason I was asking him the question about his hands and, you know, looking back at his UFC career is because obviously, you know, Jim just didn't learn how to punch when he joined Bare-Knuckle, and he didn't just, you know, all of a sudden have power in his hands when he came to Bare-Knuckle. Jim always relied on his grappling. You knew if you were getting into a fight with Jim, he was going to take it down. He was going to, you know, grapple with you. He was going to use his jiu-jitsu, and he was going to continue to work hard to get you down to the ground into the world where he knows he can take you down with his takedowns and his jiu-jitsu. So that's why I'm asking the question. So again, Jim, welcome back. Good to see you again. I feel like it's been forever since we spoke. So do you have any regrets about not using your hands more, especially when you hear from somebody like Palomino that knew you always had hands? You knew you had power, you had strength, you had timing. So do you, and I'm not asking you to regret life in your career, but do you look back and say, you know, if I throw my hands a little more, my UFC career would have been a lot different?
I think everything happened for a reason, you know. Who knows what would have happened. I think it took me finding Bare-Knuckle to really discover that I had hands. You know, I had such good jiu-jitsu and wrestling throughout my MMA career, and I utilized it very well. And I didn't have to use my striking too much. You know, I'd throw a couple punches, take the guys down, and just submit them on the ground for the most part. There was many times where I did drop my opponents, and instead of finishing it with punches, I just followed them down to the ground and end up submitting them. So I had it, you know, and I think when I got to UFC, I was just, you know, I don't know. I guess I got nervous. So many different things. You know, my head just wasn't in the right place for sure during that time in the UFC. But you know, now in Bare-Knuckle, I'm having fun again. My mind is right, which is one of the most important things in the fight game. You know, if your mind's not right, you're already going to lose the battle.
Sure.
So you know, I'm going in there with the right head on my shoulders, and I'm just having fun again. And that's really what it's all about. I'm just out there having fun and not worrying too much about the outcome.
Yeah, and I tagged David Feldman in one of the comments. I wanted to tune into this, and I'm going to preface my next statement with saying, Dave, I'm not trying to get Jim to leave Bare-Knuckle at any stretch of the imagination. He belongs right where he is. But I do have to ask the question, because now that you found that striking and that power, if the right MMA opportunity comes up, and that means the UFC or maybe, you know, traveling overseas to one, or possibly, you know, when pro PFL comes back and they have that $1 million tournament, if one of those opportunities comes your way, would it be something that you would entertain, even though you're doing Bare-Knuckle and you may be the champion in a few weeks? But would it be something you entertain to go back to MMA just to, you know, unleash the hands on some of those guys that thought, hey, you know, Jim can't punch?
You know, after I win this belt, because I will be the champion, and you know, I think I'll talk to David. You know, he's always been an awesome guy. Maybe we do some kind of cross promotion. You know, Bare-Knuckle champ. You know, against, you know, definitely get their name out there, because I'll go out there and I'll do the same thing I'm doing here. So it'll only make Bare-Knuckle look better.
All right, so let's move on to this fight. You know, there was supposed to be a lightweight tournament taking place, and you were going to be in it, and there were going to be a few other guys in it, and you guys were going to fight your way to a title fight. Then we ran into the corona pandemic, and life changed for everybody, including sports promotions. The UFC came back, and thank God they did, because they've been kicking ass, man. They've been putting on some really good fights. I'm very happy. It's weird watching it without fans, but I think we've all gotten used to it. And at the end of the day, I watch fights for fights, not necessarily how many fans are in the building. So the fight's been good. Bare-Knuckle is coming back now. And I guess, you know, the thought that maybe Mr. Feldman had was, I got to come back with something big. And rather than starting a tournament, why not just go, let's have a title fight? He looked at you, your record speaks for itself. You're 4-0. And then he goes and he throws the swerve, and he brings in Luis Baboon Palomino, a guy that you're familiar with. You trained with him for years at MMA Masters in Miami. You, him, Josh Saman. So many awesome fighters came out of there. And now, while I know you guys remain friendly, you know, you're both, to me, legends in the Florida combat sports scene because of everything you've both done for years and years, from jiu-jitsu tournaments and combat jiu-jitsu and MMA fights and just everything you guys have done. You're both legends in the sport. Oh, he just disappeared. Look at that. He's like gone. His picture's there, or his scene is there, but he's gone. I wonder if he made himself invisible, like he has a cloaking device like Harry Potter. You know, that cloak cape. Oh, we lost him again. What happened? He'll be back in a second, I guess. So, so we'll bring him back here in just a minute. You know, some technical difficulties tonight on Cage Talk, Christopher James, but it's all right, man. I like the new background I'm using tonight. If you see, you know, I've got Bare-Knuckle fighting. You know, I wanted to make sure we had that tonight. I thought it was pretty dope. So that's our new background for the evening for my Bare-Knuckle interview with Jim Alers. Jim is going to be fighting Luis Baboon Palomino July 24th in Mississippi. They are going to be fighting for the inaugural Bare-Knuckle Fighting Championship 155-pound title. Jim has been wanting this fight since his last two fights. After he got that third victory, he wanted it. He got that fourth victory, he wanted it. He was going to be in the tournament, and a lot of people picked him as the favorite to win the tournament. And boom, Now he's fighting for the title. No tournament necessary. He's taken on an old friend, an old training partner in Luis Baboon Palomino. Palomino was the XFC inaugural 155-pound, lightweight champion in MMA for XFC years ago when I was working with the XFC. He then went on to fight at ACB, which became ACA. He also fought at World Series of Fighting. Two of the most memorable fights I've ever seen in my life when he took on Justin the Highlight Gaethje. Those two guys beat the ever-loving hell out of each other inside the WSOF cage. Neither one wanted to give an inch. Neither one wanted to back away. And it's truly two of the greatest MMA fights I've ever seen outside of the UFC. Hang on, I'm going to send Jim a message real quick. Just sent a message. Hopefully he'll be back in here in just a minute. I'm guessing he's looking for a power cord. I think maybe the phone died. So he's got a power cord. He's got to find a different spot in the gym to plug in, and or we might get a car interview. Just never know. Dum dum dum. Hey, there he is once again, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome back Jim the Beast Alers.
Yeah, my phone, it just keeps saying it's getting too hot or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's like dropping off. I don't know what it is.
Every time I go on. So we'll try to get through. All right. So they book you through, they book you against Palomino. Again, former training partner, guy you're friends with. Like I said, I was giving you both accolades, legends in Miami, legends in Florida combat sports. I think it was a little swerve that he was going to be the guy you're fighting for the title. Considering he's just coming into the organization when a lot of people felt it would be somebody else that was already there. So give us your thoughts on this fight, because when it was announced for me, my mouth started watering because I know what you both bring, and friendship's going out the window and it's all business. And I know that's how you guys both fight. So give us your thoughts on the booking and, your excitement level about it. Cause you're going in there, you're getting a fight. You're not fighting some tomato can. You're fighting a guy who's going to come at you the same way you're coming at him.
Yeah, man, I knew this fight was going to happen. I didn't see anybody really stopping Palomino, even if the fight, even if we had the whole tournament going through. So it's going to be awesome to go in there and, test the skills. I used to watch Palomino from my first fight ever. He was always kind of on my radar because I was like, oh man, we kind of walk around the same weight class. He actually fought one of my teammates at the time, Jonathan Brookins.
I remember that fight. That was a fight
years ago, and I remember trying to mimic Baboon's style for him throughout that fight camp for Brookins. And then, the fight game, we move around. I moved down to South Florida, and Josh Saman, really, really, really wanted me to come out to MMA Masters. He kept asking me, and eventually, one day, I remember, I'll never forget. It was after a combat night, and shaking his giant hand, and he's squeezing my hand so tight. And he's like, "All right, we shook on it. You need to come Monday." And I ended up showing up there. See you, brother. I ended up showing up there, and I liked the vibe. A lot of tough guys was there, so it was a good time to be there. And I got to meet everybody. Ended up training with Baboon, and him and I would have some wars in the gym, man. Some wars. I think we've had some actual fist fight back there, but with gloves on. And so it's going to be awesome, these couple of years later to kind of show him the improvements that I've made throughout time.
Yeah. That's just, it's awesome, man. I'm like, there's so much I could say about this fight. And then there's so much that, I just go, wow, man, this is just crazy that it's going to be these two guys going, because again, what you guys have done, and like I said, and now that you've got this power and this striking and precision striking, you're not just winging punches, your punches have intent. You run down that ramp to the bare-knuckle ring, and I mean, you're running, you're like, all right, let's get this shit going, man. Such an intensity you bring. And we know Palomino is a tough son of a gun. When David called you and said this was the fight, and like I said, you're excited. did you get like me? Did you get excited? Did you get like your mouth water a little bit? Not because you're fighting again, but because of who you're fighting and the level that you know what this fight is going to do.
Yeah, man. Like I said, like he said, this is all business, and in my mind, man, I'm already the champion. The only thing is I don't have the belt wrapped around my waist. And no matter who it is, they could have put anybody in front of me and I was gonna get in there and do the same thing I do every time. So yeah, it's awesome to get a guy like Baboon who has the experience and everything he has. But I kind of had the same feeling fighting London Garcia. I feel like they have similar styles, man. These guys are powerful and will come at you with everything they got. So it's going to be a good fight, man. And I'm hoping that he has the best camp that he has possible for this fight, and that we're able to give the fans, everything that we can, because everything that the fans are going to expect out of that fight. We all know my style. I'm not changing it for anybody. I don't have any secrets. I'm going to go out there and do my thing. It's up to my opponents now to try to change that, to try to change the game, because like I said, man, I'm going to live by the sword or die by the sword. I'm going to go out there, try to knock you out, or hey, if it happens, if somebody can do it, we'll probably end it there, but I don't see it happening.
Hey, I mean, and like you said, if somebody can knock you out, that's part of this game. You know that going in, but you know that going in, and you still go in willingly to go, because you know what? Nobody's knocking me out. In your head, it's not happening. So, and I believe in when you envision stuff like that. Conor McGregor always talked about envisioning things and seeing it before it happens. And you've talked about a few of your fights in Bare-Knuckle, seeing it before it happens. We've talked on the air, off the air, and you just see something going. Like you walk in there, you already know. So I think that gives you an added level of confidence in yourself to execute. Clearly, like you've never executed before, man. Like I said, it's fucking dope. Now, we were talking about Josh, and we all know Josh from his days in the UFC, came through the XFC, a few other spots, started Combat Night with Mitchell, and I remember one night you guys were in Miami at a House of Fame show that I was announcing, and we got a picture of you guys in the crowd, and I memed it. So I don't know if you could see that meme. It says, when Josh the Man and Jim Alers realized in 5 days they get to kick some ass in their home state of Florida at UFC Fight Night Orlando, they couldn't contain themselves. And of course, Mitchell's in there with you too. But I remember that night, man, and it was like, it was such a cool night that you guys were all there. And when I look back at those pictures of that time, I realize the level of human beings that I've met through this sport. You and Jim and Mitchell. I mean, Mitchell, carried on the Combat Night. He gives fighters opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. He's all over Florida. He's done a phenomenal job. The Saman Foundation is doing a phenomenal job. But then we moved to you and Josh, and Josh was such a giver. He would go out there. I mean, every city he went into when he fought, he would do something with kids and try to help every community he went to. It was important to him to give back. He had a little bit of a tortured soul, we all know. And then there's you. And I think that's why he wanted you to come to Miami and to MMA Masters, because he saw a lot of himself in you. The character you carry with you as a man, as a father, as a teacher, as a coach, as a human being, to give to others the way you do. And then I think about, wow, man, I know these guys. You know what I'm saying? I know these guys. They're big star athletes, and I know them, and they're not full of themselves. They don't take themselves so seriously, like some of the big stars of the UFC, or even other sports that, I'm better than everybody, because I do this and I make. You've never ever once personified that. You are the most humble cat. Josh was the most humble cat. And I when I think about what you said, how you shook hands with him and he really squeezed the shit out of you, because I don't think he knew how to not squeeze anybody whenever he would hand. If he gave you a hug, you broke a rib. I mean, that was Josh. And but it just really makes me think that Josh saw in you what he had in himself, and he wanted to make sure that you guys got together and shared so much. What do you think Josh would say today, watching you do this bare-knuckle craziness? Because I mean, a lot of people still think it's crazy. I love the sport because it's the purest form of fighting. But what would Josh say to you right now?
he'd be like, "Holy shit, who the hell is this guy? Where have you been hiding?" Um, yeah, I mean, Josh was, a big striker, man. He loved to get in there and throw hands and everything like that. So I'm sure he would appreciate this sport big time.
Yeah, I could see him sitting in your corner, working the corner with you one night and just, losing his mind, watching go, and then after the fight's over, you'd get an injury because he'd break your ribs when he hugged you after you won. So you'd have to be on the shelf, which would be crazy because I remember one time he hugged me. I literally thought he broke my ribs. It was like, dude, can you let me? That's how I was talking because he was squeezing so hard. I don't think he realized how strong he was. So July 24th. The only thing that's missing from this fight is it's not in Miami. This fight is built for Florida, and
I think they tried pretty hard to make it happen down here. But I think they just want to give the fans the most exciting fight that they can make, and they know it. They know they have these other names on their roster of guys that I'm sure are making a lot more money than we are, but they know, the fans know, that this is the fight that the Bare-Knuckle guys want to see. Every Bare-Knuckle fan knows that this is the fight that's going to bring fireworks to the league, and I'm excited that they chose me. I get to be the main event and just kind of bring back Bare-Knuckle for the world.
Yeah, and when David announced his fight, I put up a post that this is how you bring Bare-Knuckle back. Exactly what you just said. Two guys that are going to go out there and kick the tires and light the fires, like they said in Top Gun. You're going out there to do work. There is no pussyfooting around. It's 5 rounds. It's 2 minutes round, and there really is no time to feel your opponent out. You go out there and you do work, because if you're out there feeling him out, you're probably going to get knocked out. Anybody who goes in there, if you're too busy trying to box, that doesn't work. This is going to be epic. It's a culmination of something you wanted after your second Bare-Knuckle fight. You wanted to fight for the title, and now you're getting it, man. So does it feel good? In just a little over a year, it'll be like 13 months. You've achieved at least part of it. Getting to the title fight. How does that make you feel about the accomplishment that you've reinvented your career in combat sports? And you said it after that first fight. I remember I spoke to you. You said you're going to be the champion here, even though you were like, I'm not sure if I'm coming back. Then you go, no, I'm coming back. I'm going to be the champion. My hands hurt. That was the conversation we had. So 13 months later, what you saw back then is coming through. And how does that make you feel in everything that's happened since that first fight?
Man, it's like a dream come true. Just all the fights, coming into my favor. But it's just, I've been working hard at this for a long time now. I went pro in 2008, and I've just always been a fighter, just fighting my whole life, for so many different reasons. And this is fun again to me. Like I said, I've just been having a good time, and like I said, in my eyes, I'm the champ. I've been the champ. They don't have anybody in the division that will give me the fight that will take the belt away from me. So they're still bringing in guys, trying to find someone. So keep looking, guys. It's going to be a hard search, but Baboon's definitely going to be probably my toughest fight to date. We know each other. We've been around the game for a long time. So it's going to be a fun fight. So I think it's just been an amazing journey to get here. I take every fight one fight at a time. I'm having fun. We have a good time. I have my wife in the corner. I've been doing it before Mike Perry made it cool.
Oh, wait, hang on. Mike, no, you can't say that, because Mike's been bringing his ex-wife with him.
Nah, he did.
The regional shows. So, you guys were both doing that shit.
You're right. No, but Mike's the man for going out there and just, shutting everybody up and doing his thing. He looked amazing.
Yeah, he did. He looked great, and I think he made a point to a lot of people. At the end of the day, that door locks, and he's fighting. And
Right.
He does not. if you're a rookie going in for your first fight, you probably want some guys in your corner. But you could go to that ring, whether it's bare knuckle or to an MMA fight, and you can go with no corner. You can have, just your wife there, not saying a word and just putting the ice on your neck, like Mike's girlfriend did. And you could fight, because this is not, at the end of the day, it's not, something you don't know how to do already. The training and all that stuff that you do for different things, that's great, but you don't need to have 3 people in your corner telling you how to fight at this point in your career.
Right. I need someone to let me know if, hey man, you're dropping your hands, pick your hands up. Hey, push the pace a little bit more. You're slowing down. I just need, I need that. Push the pace. Let's go. I need that extra motivation. I like to be told in between rounds, like, yo, what the fuck are you doing, man? Get in there, finish this fight, stop playing around. It's what little instructions are you really going to see, and that it's hard to make those adjustments. Some people can make those small adjustments that they need, I guess. But, I'm out there, I'm doing my thing. I see what needs to be done. And, my coaches, I have a good boxing coach, Kevin Gleason, he's been out there with me. Yep. And, you've just seen the difference in my hands. I was looking at videos just today of when we first started working again for bare knuckle to where I'm at now. And it's just the way I move and flow is completely different than when we started. So he's made so much changes in my stand-up game.
Yeah, a couple comments on here I want to share with you. Jason Goodall. Jason, good as gold, Goodall says, proud of you, brother. We want you to bring that belt home. Juan Rodriguez said, what's up? # beast mode. Nice. I like it. Alien Rodriguez, he says, he knows these 2 warriors from Miami for a long time. He's happy he's not judging this fight. Great guys, both of them, and he's looking forward to watching this fight. And I think that's the sentiment from a lot of people that have, come through the scene watching you and Luis over the years. Like, I'm telling you right now, I'm not picking this fight. I'm just going to watch this fight. And I just hope both of you are able to walk out at the end of it. You know what I'm saying? And, that's it. Because,
man, I love Baboon, man. He's an amazing guy, man. Good father, good person overall. Nothing but nice things to say about him. He's always been a good dude to me. But, as soon as this fight was announced, I just kind of cut off all ties with him, because at the end of the day, like he said, like I said, this is business, and whoever they put in front of me, I'd probably fight my brother if they throw them in there, against me trying to take my title. That's mine, belongs to me, and I'm not going to let anybody take it. So
I like it.
It's going to
be he fun. Said the same thing. He goes, once they announce the fight, Jim and I are not friends right now. Don't come talk to me. Try to be my friend. I'm trying to knock your head off. You're trying to knock my head off. We can go have a beer after the fight. That's what he said.
Nothing but love, but, and I'm a nice guy, I'm always a nice guy. I'm always have a smile on my face and everything like that. But, when soon as they call my name and I'm, you see me, I'm ready in the back. I don't walk down, getting ready in my head, listening to the music. I'm sprinting down to the cage, Ultimate Warrior style, ready to put on a show for everybody. So, after that's over, hey, I snap out of it. I black out for a day, and I snap out of it. And I'm back. The Bare Knuckle Beast is no longer the Bare Knuckle Beast. I'm just regular old Jim, and we can go have a beer or something after that. But until they announce my name, my hand is raised. That's it.
Yep, he's the enemy, and like I said, it's funny. You guys have the exact same thought. Pretty much verbatim repeated what he said to me on Monday night. Right now, it's time to go to work. You guys are both going to work. You both have the respect for each other. There'll be no shit talking, and saying you're going to knock him out and win the fight, or him saying that he's going to do that to you. That's not shit talking that, but you believe going in. I mean, if you don't believe that going to any fight, the fuck are you fighting for? You know what I'm saying? If you don't think you're going to go in there and knock somebody out or win the fight, whatever fashion, stop fighting, because that's just stupid. I hate when I hear guys
the real BMF of South Florida. We both have world titles in MMA. This is what you need. What else do you need? A world title in bare knuckle boxing.
The bare knuckle fighting. Bare knuckle boxing. You'll get yelled at. It's funny because you said the real BMF of South Florida. Now there is a BMF belt that the UFC gave out in Masvidal, another Florida guy. All these
Nah,
badass
but
guys are hanging out.
he's legit, man, too. He was out there doing bare knuckle, long before anything. But he's legit for sure.
Yeah, I love that dude, man. He came up and did a grappling show with Pettis for us at Island Fights last summer. What a cool cat. I hung out with him and Yoel Romero, went to have food with them. And I got like 7 words in English from the two of them together. And then they just went off Spanish. And I just sat there and ate my food while they conversed. So I was there. I don't know if I was there because I don't speak Spanish, but they were cracking me up. But anyway, so this fight, again, the only thing missing from this fight is a South Florida appearance. Even without a crowd, it would still be fitting to have the fight here in Florida. Man, I wish that would, but it is what it is. One of you guys are going to bring the belt back to Florida. I mean, that's a plus. Florida is going to win an important title here. And it really is important because this is the first 155-pound title for Bare-Knuckle Fighting Championship. So the honor goes to Jim Alers for lighting up the division, and the honor goes to Luis Palomino because he's one tough son of a bitch. I couldn't imagine a better matchup. I'm excited for it. Like I said, I'm not picking you. I'm not picking Luis. I'm just hoping you both walk out of the thing after, on your own feet. Hopefully nobody needs a stretcher. But, if you do, shit happens. I mean, I seen Artem go out in a stretcher and, he was fine, the next day. So sometimes that happens. Anything you want to do, shout out your gym, let people know that you're open again and give the website, sponsors and all that stuff. Oh, and stand up and show everybody your fight shorts.
Yo, baddest fight shorts in the game right here. From Combat Night Fight Camp, representing Johnson Man Foundation. Specialized with the beast on it. These are going to be my fight shorts for my fight. Guys, I got plenty of room left for sponsors, for future sponsors here. But check out the gym, Alers Martial Arts. We're located in West Pembroke Pines in the Chapel Trail area. AlersMartialArts.com will give you all the information you need. Also, these awesome new shirts we got right here. Use them for jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, whatever it is you need. And of course, Healthy One, keeping me going throughout my fight camp with great supplements and the best water around, HydroLife, baby.
All right, cool. I got a couple of questions for you from some people out here. Forrest Daniels wants to know what's better, the UFC or BKFC, and why?
Man, I think that's like comparing,
apples and oranges.
Apples and oranges. It's completely different sports. I like watching the UFC because I enjoy the technical aspect. I love seeing so many different styles in there. And I think as the UFC grows more and more, we're going to start seeing that. Back in the day, we only would see like jiu-jitsu versus wrestling or this or that. And, now we got some amazing karate guys in there knocking people out too, where it would be like, oh, you do karate. Doesn't work. So it's awesome to see that these guys are making it work and just seeing these different matchups. So, and then on the ground with, jiu-jitsu and sambo and wrestling, seeing what is the dominant grappling sport. So I love seeing all that. I'm a fan of fighting itself, but just for pure action, bare knuckle is just really where it's at right now. The action doesn't stop. If there's a break in the action, they restart you. They keep going. There's none of the ground stuff. We're not hugging on the ground. Nope. If you get knocked down, hey, action stopped for 8 seconds, stand you back up. Let's go again. If
you're able to go again. I've seen a few guys get that knockdown. They can't get back up, man. Getting hit with a bare knuckle really does change the game from a 5-ounce glove of MMA or a 10-ounce boxing glove. I mean, there is nothing protecting you. So those bell ringers, I call them, sometimes come and you don't get up. The 3 knockdown rule doesn't matter because you ain't getting up after the first knockdown. Here's a question from Scott Farley. He wants to know, what round are you finishing this, brother?
Oh man, I've been pretty good. I've called a couple of my fights, but this run, I'm going with, I don't want to jinx it before like I did last time, and I made the 5-round fight because I said, oh man, I want to have a war. I want to be bloody, and that's exactly what happened in my last fight. So, let's just make it fast, and we're getting out of there in 1 round, baby.
All right, there you go. And you know, Palomino brought up something to me. I'm going to ask you this, and then we'll let you get out the door. You know, you talked about all those fights you fought after the first one. You were really fighting with your hands hurt the whole time, swollen, swelled up, already kind of, you know, in bad shape. Your hands have had time to heal. Have you been able to figure out a way to condition your hands and your knuckles to better take the abuse on the outside, but more importantly, the abuse on the inside to keep them sturdy through a fight?
Oh yeah, after every practice, I am definitely you have to ice them. You have to really take care of them. I'm not young like I used to be either, where I felt like I was unstoppable. But I have a physical therapist that I work with. He's doing crazy stuff. I can't even tell you half the things he's doing, man. I don't even know what they're called, but scraping my hands with some kind of hard metal blades and sucking the blood up with something and putting the tingly glove on. So I'm going all out to make sure that these hands, don't break down on me during this fight.
And that's good. Because when he brought that up, I was like, yeah, I'm guessing as this sport evolves, there are going to be different ways to condition your hands because this is what you need. So as you guys continue to evolve this sport and break new ground all the time, I'm guessing there's going to be training methods and ways for all bare knuckle guys to keep the hands fresh, or fresher than, when they first started. You could, you go in and say, I can just take the gloves off and punch. But now you realize if you're going to do this for any extended period of time, you have to keep them fresh. So I'm glad that you found something that's working for you, and I hope it translates into fight night where your knuckles hold up. Just like, I said the same thing to Baboon because he goes, I got conditioning. I go, how do you do it? He goes, I can't tell my secrets. I started laughing about it. Like, well, maybe he's got a secret method. So, but congratulations on all the success you've had there so far. It's really awesome to see you smiling walking into a fight. Because I've seen you even at UFC fights, you smile and everything, you and homeboy had the whole Star Wars thing up in Orlando, and that was cool. It was fun, and you went into that fight with a smile on your face. It was an Orlando fight. I think that attributed to it. But seeing you having fun again in the sport of fighting, it's good. I like this version of Jim Alers. I've always liked Jim Alers, that, but this version is just so much happier, and when you see people that you respect and admire in a happy spot in their life, it makes you feel good. So I feel good for you and your family. Are your kids old enough to understand what you're doing, by the way? Do they get the bare knuckle thing? And do they go, Dad, are you crazy?
I mean, they know, like, I'm a fighter. When you ask them, what does Daddy do? They'll say, oh, he teaches at the gym and he fights. And, I'm like, I asked them, do I win or I lose a lot? And they're like, you win a lot. So that's a good thing right now that they still see that. So that's good.
That's cool. I love it, man. And your whole family is involved in the gym. And like I said, fighting isn't just a job for you, and combat sports is your life. So from, when you wake up in the morning, you, like I said, that's why I call you a legend in the sport for Florida, because this is your life. You're not, taking some training and then doing some fighting and then, doing another, real world kind of job. You are all in on this. And like I said, you've given so much to the fans and the people here in the sport in Florida, man. And for that, we're all grateful, because we need more guys like you to continue on their traditions that you and others in your era and a little bit before you have laid out, to make Florida what it is today in combat sports. So for that, we all owe you a debt of gratitude, and I'm glad your school's doing good. And you're getting the success, man. Go out there and have a fun.
Appreciate it. Yeah,
have fun on the 24th.
I appreciate being on the show. I appreciate, just everything, the love that I've been getting from everybody around Florida. Is everywhere I go, I get some kind of compliment from people who I respect. It was crazy at the last combat night to hear what's this guy's name that fought John Jones to
which one?
Fight Reyes, I think it was.
Dominic Reyes.
Yeah, to hear him say out of nowhere, just come up to me and is like, yo, man, what you're doing is crazy. The joy that you have when you're fighting. He's like, I need that. He's like, what, and I was just like, oh man, this is awesome. This guy who basically beat John Jones is watching my fight.
John Jones, dude. Stop it. He didn't beat John Jones, dude.
I mean,
he gave him a good fight, but he didn't beat John Jones.
He didn't beat John Jones officially.
Nobody's beaten John Jones. A couple guys came close, but nobody's beat John Jones. Just stop with that craziness. Maybe you have been hit in the head too many times. I don't know. He gave John Jones one hell of a fight. There's no doubt about that. I respect the guy, but he didn't beat John Jones. So anyway, we'll move on from John Jones. And I'm glad you brought up Mike Perry earlier, because Mike Perry, people, if you listen to every other word he says and you put it all together, Mike Perry says a lot of stuff that people really need to hear. So, we all love Mike in Florida, man. Mike's the man. Jim Alers is the man. Mike Perry's the man. We got a lot of the men here in Florida, man. We represent well in the world of combat sports. And like I said, that's the way it goes. Jim, for all you do and for all you've done, thank you. Thanks for always taking the time. And, I know I'm not, the ESPN interview, but those are going to come your way when you do this, you continue to do what you're doing. But I do appreciate that you take time out of your life and your busy schedule to spend time with us and talk to my followers and fans and your followers and fans that tune in to watch the show. I hope you and the wife and the kids have a wonderful rest of the week. Enjoy your 4th of July weekend. Stay corona-free.
Same to you. Have a good
night. All right, be well, man. I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye. Guys, that was Jim the Beast, the Bare-Knuckle Beast Alers. What a good guy. Love him to death, man. He puts a lot of work into the sport. He always has. And like I said, he represents the state of Florida very well as a MMA fighter, as a coach, as a gym owner, and as a bare-knuckle beast, as he likes to call himself. He'll be fighting July 24th for Bare-Knuckle Fighting Championships up in Mississippi, taking on Luis Baboon Palomino for the inaugural Bare-Knuckle Fighting Championship 155-pound title. Will be a pay-per-view event, so follow the Bare-Knuckle Fighting Championship page. Also keep up with me on my page. I'll have articles coming up. Probably get a few of the other fighters on as well. And I'll keep you guys updated with all the information I can. We're going to try to get David Feldman on before the event takes place. Don't forget, tomorrow night on Cage Side with Christopher James, we're going to talk to a guy that really made his mark in the UFC in his debut a couple of weeks back, Justin Jane. And he took on Frank Camacho. I think he knocked him out in like 48 seconds. In his UFC debut. Guy has a lot of energy, a lot of fire. He's got a character. He's got a personality. He's all kinds of fun. And we're going to have him on tomorrow night, Cage Side with Christopher James at 7:30. We're starting an hour early tomorrow night. So make sure you mark that down on your calendar. And what a great week we've had so far. I appreciate all my guests this week, starting at the beginning of the week with, oh my goodness, Christian Inastilla and Luis Baboon Palomino. Yesterday we had Kama Worthy and Joseph Creer from Bellator. Tonight, Jim Alers. Tomorrow, Justin James. And who knows, we might have something special for you guys Friday. Love you guys. Thanks for being part of the show tonight. And as always, thanks for being a part of my life today. And thank you for letting me be a part of yours. Until next time, I am Christopher James. You've been Cage Side. We'll talk to you guys soon. Good night.